Welcome back to the Lex Dynamic channel. And today we are going to be talking about free speech in America and the erosion of free speech in America. And actually, we're going to start from an unusual source, Jimmy Kimmel. But first, music from my upcoming third album by me, Lex Dynamic, being released for free on Apple, Spotify, and all the rest. The album is called A Bad Day Ruined, and it's being released on Monday, September 22nd. The song is called The Darkness Never Leaves. All right, let's go ahead and move forward because the music is important to me, but the country is important to all of us. As you may have heard, the Jimmy Kimmel Show has been, quote unquote, preempted indefinitely. Let's not fuck around, all right? The show's been canceled. And just like a previous show was canceled, sorry, I don't watch much TV and I don't watch any late night shows, including Jimmy Kimmel. That was canceled as well. Just like previously, CBS took it straight up the ass from Donald Trump and with the spine of a Tyrannosaurus Rex settled a lawsuit with him that it had no business settling. And now ABC also, with the spine of a lion, decides to just bend over and take it from Donald Trump. See, I kind of expect these networks to be gutless. That's what they are. My real problem is what the government is doing here. So let's talk about how the government here, under the Trump administration, essentially right now, is running a system in which it is the Trump administration that is attempting to decide what you hear and what you don't hear, and what is truth and what is not truth. And this is from this latest action from CBS, from now suing the New York Times for $15 billion, which is a ridiculous figure. This is the kind of stuff that if you think, well, we see this in third world countries and in places like China and Russia, yeah, but it's happening here. And let's lay out exactly how it is happening here. So here's what Jimmy Kimmel actually said. And again, to be clear, this isn't about Jimmy Kimmel. This is about our government. I've watched maybe 10 minutes of Jimmy Kimmel on YouTube. I don't know anything about the guy. Right? Quote, this was after the Charlie Kirk assassination. Quote, we hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. Okay, what's the problem? First of all, I don't hear any lies detected. Regardless of this guy's political affiliation, he came from a MAGA family. He was raised with those MAGA values. Guns were easily accessible. He's one of them. And they are doing whatever they can to score political points. They've been doing a lot of lying and a lot of manipulation in order to score these political points. All right? Let's say you disagree with Jimmy Kimmel. Well, who cares? This is America. We have a First Amendment. And let's say you believe that everything that Jimmy Kimmel said is total bullshit. Fine. Then it's total bullshit. But why is the FCC, the United States Federal Communications Commission, threatening legal action against ABC affiliates? Well, it's because of a guy named Brendan Carr. And Carr runs the FCC, and he is a Trump ass licker. What he called Jimmy Kimmel, he said by Jimmy Kimmel, this was the sickest conduct possible. Jesus Christ. why can't something just be something bad, something I disagree with, something I don't like? Why does everything have to go immediately to level 1 fucking million? The sickest conduct possible. Donald Trump engages in at least 100 things that are sicker every fucking day. And this cocksucker is calling this the sickest conduct possible. I don't understand this. Okay? Of all the other shit that we do, of all the horrible shit that Donald Trump does, of all the horrible shit that Carr's boss does, he says this is the sickest conduct possible. Fine. And Carr goes on another show, on a right-wing show, because remember, that's one thing with Trump, the Trump administration, they don't really communicate with left-wing media or even regular, just middle-of-the-road media as much as they can, because they can't control the narrative there. But then they go on right-wing media, and that's basically state-sponsored media. We're talking about Russia, essentially. I was born in Russia. I know what that looks like. We call it Pravda. That means truth. There used to be two newspapers in Russia. One was called Truth, and the other one was called News. And Truth never had any news, and News never had any truth, and that's exactly what the Trump administration is attempting to recreate right now. Here's what Carr said. What people don't understand is that the broadcasters have a license granted by us at the FCC, and that comes with it an obligation to operate in the public interest. When we see stuff like this, look, we can do this the easy way or the hard way. These companies can find ways to change conduct on Kimmel, or there's going to be additional work for the FCC ahead. That's a threat. When he says the easy way or the hard way, he's basically telling these news stations, either you remove Jimmy Kimmel or we're going to do something about you. And oh, by the way, let us remind you that we control your license. But it actually goes beyond that. And I'm going to get to that in a second, because money, as always, is involved here. This is not fucking normal. This should not be happening in the United States. The government, which controls these TV licenses, should not be dictating to these networks what they can and what they can't broadcast when it comes to news coverage of the president. They should not be in a position to determine what is truth and what is not. This is not normal. This also is what Carr said. We have a rule on the book that interprets the public interest standard that says news distortion is something that is prohibited. The FCC has stepped back from enforcing it. I think it's past time these affiliates, these are news stations, smaller ones, or TV stations, themselves push back on Comcast and this and say, listen, we're not going to run Kimmel anymore until you straighten this out, because we're running the possibility of license revocation from the FCC if we continue to run content that ends up being a pattern of news distortion. It cannot be any more blatant than this. And you think about it. This is how confident the Trump administration is in violating the law, because they know that Congress doesn't give a damn and is a bunch of pussies, and the Supreme Court doesn't give a damn and they're a bunch of pussies, and John Roberts is king fucking pussy. He's been licking Trump's ass for almost 10 years right now. He knows that Carr knows that they're not going to do anything. Trump knows that they're not going to do anything, so they can blatantly say either take Kimmel off the air and we're restricting your free speech, or we're taking away your license. Let me ask a more fundamental question. Why does the FCC even have this power in America? We have a First Amendment. Why is the FCC in charge of these licenses with respect to content? Let me give you a little bit of background. Remember that news stations before and radio stations ran on TV airwaves. This is prior to cable. And the thing about airwaves is that they have only a limited bandwidth. So you can't just have unlimited, or at least before, you couldn't have unlimited TV stations. You couldn't have unlimited radio stations. Instead, you had to go and seek a license from the Federal Communications Commission to say, we want to operate a station within this bandwidth, give us a license. And the FCC would say, well, we'll give you a license, but in exchange, we are going to be able to regulate you. Now, that's a problem in and of itself. But why the fuck does this exist in 2025? Bandwidth is no longer an issue. You can put whatever you want on cable. You can put whatever you want on YouTube. You can put whatever you want on TikTok, on Facebook, on Twitter, on whatever the hell you want to put it on. The FCC should no longer have this power, because this is exactly what could happen, that a bad actor, an evil actor like Trump, can go in there and actually abuse it, which is exactly what's happening right now. And here's the thing, Carr really cares about news distortion. Really, if you care that much about news distortion, why don't you go after Fox News, which paid a $787 million settlement after it ran a load of bullshit about election fraud that it knew was false? That emails and depositions that were pulled during the litigation by Dominion Voting Systems actually proved that Fox News were false all along, right? That's news distortion. Go after them. No, actually, I don't want that because, again, the FCC should not be dictating to fucking anyone what they should be broadcasting. Or go after Newsmax, which also just recently, within the past month, paid Dominion Voting Systems $67 million for the same bullshit election fraud claims, which it also knew were false. But again, no, I don't want the FCC going after the bullshit artists at Newsmax or Fox News because I don't want the FCC having this fucking power, because what we are seeing right now is that it's going to be abused. What is the old dictum? Absolute power corrupts absolutely. What are you seeing right now from Donald Trump? Absolute power. What are you seeing right now from the sycophant Carr? Absolute power. This is the problem that you have when you give the government too much power. I don't want a Democrat having it. I don't want a Republican having it. I don't want the government having it. Because this is exactly what could happen. However, no other presidential administration has ever done this. No Republican or Democratic administration has ever done this. Say what you will about someone like Nixon, who was a piece of shit, or George Bush, or Ronald Reagan, or Barack Obama, or Bill Clinton, or Jimmy Carter. None of them did this. This is what Russia does. Now the government decides what is true and what isn't. And if we don't like what you're saying, we're taking your license. This is what China does. This is what third world countries do. This is what dictators do. But of course, Donald Trump isn't a dictator, right? And he doesn't want to be a dictator, right? Right? What is happening here is what we call the chilling effect. I'm a civil rights lawyer, and I've done a lot of First Amendment litigation. I've actually won cases at the highest levels, short of the Supreme Court and Federal Appeals Court, on the First Amendment. I know what I'm talking about with the First Amendment. So if any right-winger gets on here and decides that they want to argue with me, okay, go somewhere else. I'm not wasting my fucking time with you. So let's talk about the chilling effect. The concern with the chilling effect is that any kind of government restrictions can be so harsh that our laws typically are very hostile in those kinds of restrictions because they know that those restrictions can chill people from communicating. This is the chilling effect. And of course, the quote unquote news networks are gutless. We know what CBS did. And now we know what ABC is doing. And now ABC actually is being pushed by its affiliates. Why? Well, there's the affiliates that actually started this were somebody from a group called Nexstar. Nexstar, in case you want to contact them and tell them what fucking cowards and pussies they are. Nexstar owns a lot of TV stations throughout the country. And this gutless turd named Andrew Alford, who is the president of Nexstar Broadcasting Division, said this: Mr. Kimmel's comments about the death of Mr. Kirk are offensive. Oh, let me clutch my pearls. Let me cinch my ass cheeks right now. Oh, offensive and insensitive at a critical time in our national political discourse. Yeah, that's what this guy gives a shit about, is the national political discourse. It's not his next bonus. He goes to sleep at night talking, honey, you know, I'm really worried. Oh, sweetheart, what are you worried about? I'm worried about our national political discourse. Yes, that's what he's worried about. No, he's worried about the next fucking yacht that he's going to buy. And, quote, we do not believe they reflect the spectrum of opinions, views, or values of the local communities in which we are located. Shut the fuck up. Of all the fucking shit that you guys show on television, this is what you're bothered by? Give me a fucking break. You're so full of shit. I'm dealing with a fucking car salesman here. Not even like a used car salesman, but like a salvage title car salesman. Fuck, I trust a salvage title car salesman more than Andrew Fuckface Alford. Quote, Continuing to give Mr. Kimmel a broadcast platform in the communities we serve is simply not in the public interest at the current time, and we have made the difficult decision to preempt his show in an effort to let cooler heads prevail as we... Oh, fuck! I can't even fucking finish this fucking quote. Fuck! This has nothing to do with public interest, blah, blah, blah. Do you know what's going on? Nexstar is seeking FCC approval for a $6.2 billion deal to acquire Tegna, which is another owner of various broadcasters across the country. This has nothing to do with public decency, public standards, public interest, public shit. This is all about fucking money. This is what the FCC should be dealing with. Media concentration, media monopolization, because when you bring all these media stations together, this is what happens. See, if you had a bunch of different media stations across the country who didn't have to worry about their FCC licenses, some of them could say, well, you know what? We don't want to broadcast Kimmel. And ABC says, great, don't broadcast Kimmel. We don't give a fuck. Or say, yes, you're going to broadcast Kimmel. That's a business relationship. Others may say, Carr may go to them and say, well, we're going to do this and we don't like Kimmel. And they can say, hey, up yours. We're going to do whatever we want. But we can't do that right now because of media concentration, because of monopolies in the media right now, which are all filtering the same bullshit narrative at you. And we're going to talk a lot about that because the media has completely fallen apart in the United States with respect to all of their obligations. That is what I want the FCC dealing with. But see, you have to understand something. For the Trump administration, they actually want more media monopolization. Why? It's simple. What is easier to control? 5 or 6 different TV stations? 50 or 60 different TV stations? 100 to 150 different TV stations? Or 3 or 4 conglomerates? Then you just threaten all of them and you get exactly what you want, which is exactly what's happening here. Late Wednesday, another one of these massive conglomerates, Sinclair, which owns more ABC stations than any other affiliate group, said that it would run a tribute to Kirk during Kimmel's time slot on Friday. What the fuck are we talking about? A fucking tribute? Why? I don't give a shit if you love Charlie Kirk or don't. He's not fucking Robert Redford. By the way, fucking Robert Redford, Jesus. Not only a great actor, but one of the most handsome men I've ever seen. I mean, I'm not gay, but I think I'd go gay for Robert Redford. And I'm not even talking about him in his prime. I'm talking about Robert Redford, at 89 years old that he died. Fuck, that was a good-looking man. In any case, kind of lost the plot here. Why are we running a tribute to him? Did you run a tribute to Melissa Hortman, the senator who was murdered in Minnesota by a right-wing fucking lunatic? Or to her husband? The only reason you're running a tribute is because Sinclair also wants something from the fucking FCC. Sinclair called on Kimmel to apologize to the Kirk family and said that it would not air his show even if ABC brings it back, quote unquote, until formal discussions are held with ABC regarding the network's commitment to professionalism and accountability. Shut the fuck up. Jesus Christ. Listen, I know that Jimmy Kimmel has said shit that's much worse than this. This is pretty fucking mild. This is pretty tepid. This is nothing. What's the difference? The difference is that the government right now wants to control what these media networks are saying. God damn it. Every fucking time in this podcast, I'm going to say, this is the end of America. Countries do not fall apart overnight. They gradually decline over a period of days to weeks to months to years. This is how democracy ends. You control the levels of power. Think about all the things they've done with the education system and restrictions on universities. Think about what they've done now to the media networks, to the regular schools, to the healthcare system with the bullshit MAHA movement. MAHA, whatever the fuck it is. I don't understand this. I don't understand how more people don't see this as a problem. At some point, I guess the American experiment just ends. Fuck, this is fucking depressing. All right, fuck it. Listen to more of my music, stream it for free. Apple, Spotify, whatever the fuck. Like, subscribe, all that bullshit. It's not going to matter because we're not going to have a fucking country to live in anyway. I'll see you guys in the next episode.